the cloud. Yeah, please speak up if you have any questions, okay? Okay, we're going to talk about chapter 1. Okay. Let's get this thing to come up. Okay. Ethical hacking and network defense. First of all, our course is called Security Auditing and Penetration Testing. That will be changing. Starting in the fall, it will be called Ethical Hacking and Systems Defense. Okay? Because that's really what it is. Okay? What? I am recording, I hope. To make sure. Yes, I do. Okay. So we will be renaming the course. We're going to learn what an ethical hacker is. We're going to talk about the legal aspect, very little bit about the legal. Okay. They are hired by companies to perform penetration testing. Okay. What was that? There was that show where the people filming breaking into like car dealers and stuff. Don't remember the name of that show? Can't think of the name now. A lot of people get hired to do this. Okay. Rose State, years ago, we actually did something. We got permission from the president, really no one else. And we broke into the school. Ian Byers, who happens to work at IT now, went over to student services. Hey, I'm here. He was a student at that point. Hey, I'm Ian from IT services. I'm here to fix your computer. Oh, would you mind logging in? They let him in. We found buildings unlocked. We found doors unlocked. We found all this stuff. Okay. One of the students took my ex-wife, was Eileen Dewey. Went over there to said, oh, I'm Eileen Dewey and I lost my faculty ID. Created out a brand new one with a student's picture on it. So that's basically what we're talking about here. Looking for vulnerabilities in systems. And it was funny, when Ian got into student services, after they let him into the computer with access, student services actually called IT services. Then they sent out, whoa, someone's trying to break in. Wait, whoa, stop, hold it, don't go there. And they were pissed that the president didn't tell them. But yeah, it was very eye-opening. Okay, so penetration test, this is attempt to break into a company's network to find the weakest link. Does that mean you exploit it and cause problems? No, but you need to find the vulnerabilities in it. Vulnerability assessments is tests to ensure that the vulnerability is found or see if there are any. Okay, there's a book out there called 0 Days. We're going to watch it during the Cybersecurity Club one of these days.
I just finished that.
That book's amazing.
Stuxnet. I was about to talk to you about redoing hash values by using rainbow tables. When you were talking about hash values in emails,
yes,
that's how they did it in Stuxnet.
Oh wow!
One of their anyways. Sorry.
Okay, so we're going to watch a movie one of these days. I don't know exactly when. It's called 0 Days. It's about the Stuxnet virus. Truly amazing. That book was. I actually read it on a cruise, and I have a rule: I read a book when I drive, or I read a book when I'm at the gym, and that's the only time I read. You would not believe how many extra hours of exercise I did on that cruise. Because it was like, oh, need to read more. So I kept going, and then I stopped exercising. I'm like, I need to go. So I go back to the gym and exercise some more and read some more. So, I mean, really, really good. Okay. Security test. What now?
You mean read as listen?
No, yeah, listen. Right. Okay, when I say read, I mean listen.
He doesn't mean read.
Okay. I'll tell you what, crypto and all those, I do read. I have it on my iPad. I literally page by page by page. But I found that it's easier to listen to them. Do I get as much out of them? Probably not. But if it gets me to at least absorb some content, I listen to them at double speed, so it's great. So, okay, so security tests, besides the break-in attempts, including analyzing policies and procedures. Okay. Jason Street. I don't know, some of you might know Jason. I followed him on Twitter. He was talking about, he couldn't believe he actually got paid the other day to, basically walk through the front door of a company and prove he could do it or something. It's like crazy stuff. Okay. He used to run Jason Street Irregulars. They used to meet here years ago. Now he just is on not the concert circus.
So this will include social engineering. And
yes, exactly. Social engineering. Yes. So hacker says access computer system or network without authorization. Now, when you read the book, you're going to be reading about hackers. Hackers, we think of hackers as a bad guy, correct? That's pretty much the connotation it is. Hacking is really figuring out ways to do things. It's not necessarily malicious. They would hack a game to figure out how to play it better, how to win. Y'all remember Farmville? Some of you remember
Not
Farmville.
what it's designed to do, what it can do, the
Right, exactly.
possibilities.
I played Farmville just because I had to win. Very shortly after I played it, I found a cheat engine for it, and I was planting like, 2,000 plants in every block. I had like every medal and everything known to man, and I won basically and quick. Same with Candy Crush and all that. So, okay, so crackers, they break into systems to steal data. An ethical hacker performs most of the activities, but with permission. Okay, that's a big deal. Okay. Script Kitty says, younger, inexperienced people who just download codes. These are people who don't know what they do. They download them and run them. Oh, I just, a couple of years ago, we started using virtual machines. We had an ESX system, but we went to students running on their own VMware machines. And it was funny and scary at the same time. The feedback I was, wow, I'm so glad we had to do that because I've never done that before. But I had multiple students. And there's one guy goes, I don't understand. I can't get it to work. Blah, blah, blah. What he had done was instead of installing Server 12 on his VMware, he installed Server 12 on his laptop. So he basically overwrote his laptop with Server 12 and lost everything. How do I get it back? I'm like, you don't. You reinstall Windows 8 or 10 or whatever he was running at the time. The point is, script keys don't know exactly what they're doing. So in other words, it could be a student who really doesn't know what they're doing either. Okay. Python, very popular. Super popular. You can do pretty much everything. Ruby, same way. C, Perl, there's lots of them. You can do stuff with a lot of different languages. The point is, get good at something. Assembly language is probably the most popular, or not the most popular, the most powerful. If you go to grc.com, if you've never been to this website, you need to go there. Gibson's Research Corporation, amazing. Go here, click on Shields Up, and then scroll down to Shields Up right here, and run it at your home network. You'll be amazed. It scans everything. I don't think it'll show.
You can go to OWASP and get zapped too.
Yeah, OWASP, yes. Now this should be doing something. Yeah. Okay. And it really didn't find anything. We have a firewall here, so it found nothing. Wait, no, it didn't run yet. Hold on. Common ports. Let's use common ports. Run this at your house. This guy writes everything pretty much in assembly language. He wrote the original SpinRite, if you remember SpinRite from when we had the old IDEs and RLL drives. Wow, we're pretty much good because we have a good firewall. Run that at your house and see what you got. But the nice thing is if you have a vulnerability, he tells you how to fix it. He gives you all the instructions. So grc.com, a really, really good website. Okay. Yeah, he writes all of us pretty much in the separate. Okay. Scripts, sets of instructions. Python is a scripting language. We won't do much with it in here, but you will do stuff with it in other classes. Okay. Hacktivist, person who hacks for a company. I used to work at an ISP, and I remember it was funny. I worked part-time, 20 hours a week. But I was working 40 and 60 hours a week. So what do? I got tired of it. So I told them, you need to pay me full-time, or at least double the pay, because I proved I was working more than 20 hours a week. And they're like, nope, not going to do it. I'm like, okay, thank you very much, goodbye. The very next day, code red virus hit the network. All their servers got hacked. They all said hacked by Chinese. So they called me up, they're like, Ken, we really need you to fix this. I'm like, okay. You know what I said, double my pay? Got to give me that check first, all the way back to when you hired me, and I charge you $100 an hour to fix your problem. So I did it. It was pretty awesome.
That was cheap.
They paid. Yeah, it was, but I got a good 10 grand at least.
$100 an hour is cheap.
Yeah, oh, it is. Well, we're talking back in
2000,
1999 as well. So, okay. So, but that was an example of a hacktivist. Maybe not a true example, but hacking for a cause, like I said, hacked by Chinese. Okay. They usually have a laptop computer with multiple OSs. So if you were, now this is just a question, if you're going to get a laptop to run multiple virtual machines, what type of laptop would you get?
I have a Mac.
A Mac is probably the best. The way it manages memory and virtual machines is probably Mac is built on OpenBSD.
And you can do boot camp and run
Yes,
it.
you can still run Windows and everything. Yeah. And every time I've ever seen these professional people do it, they always have Macs. So Windows works, but see, with a Mac, you can run Mac, you can run Windows, and you run Linux. On a Windows, you can run Windows and Linux. You can't run a Mac. And a Mac, it's basically Linux, so you can literally run a lot of the applications native without having to.
I tested it, and on my MacBook Pro with the quad core, 8 gigs and all that, it ran Windows 10 faster than on a native machine.
He was saying that he actually ran Windows 10 on his MacBook, and he ran faster than
In
a Windows
boot camp,
machine.
not VM.
Oh, in boot camp. Okay,
Yeah,
that's still. Okay, nice. All right, so normally a laptop with multiple OSs on it. Job requirements. Okay, what are you going to do? Perform vulnerability checking, perform discovery, scanning, apply exploits. In other words, have they been fixed? We're going to be using Metasploit in this class where we will literally be applying exploits. Okay, what time is this class end? 8:20? Got time, okay. Participate in activities involving application penetration. Produce reports, debrief the client. Part of we're going to talk about social engineering. Was it last year or the year before? I went to speak at Deer Creek Elementary up in Edmond. I don't know if you've ever been to Deer Creek Elementary, okay? My kids go to Carl Albert. We went up on a summer and helped paint. It was in that bad shape. Deer Creek Elementary, you walk in and there's an actual waterfall inside the school. More money than
it's
anyway, yeah. But the funny thing was I went to speak to some elementary school kids. So I show up at the door, I'm here to speak, and they escort me right back to the room. Didn't check no ID, didn't check nothing, didn't check nothing. And every hour they kept bringing me new students. And I'm like, wow, no one ever asked. Finally, when I went to lunch, they're like, yeah, we were told we forgot to ask you for your ID. I'm like, it's a little late now, don't you think? You've been giving me a room every hour with these young children, network access and everything. So if I was a bad guy, I would have been a perfect example, time to do it. And that's what Jason Street and a lot of others do. You just try to get in any way possible. Even Soldier Creek Elementary over here. I don't know if you've ever been to Soldier Creek. Just brand new school, huge sign, like this enclosed entry area. 100% ID check, mandatory, no exceptions. Spoken to 3 times so far. How many times do you think I showed my ID? Not once.
We're not going to have to dumpster dive in this class, are we?
No, we're not going to. Okay. But penetration testing can be anything from breaking into machines, breaking into websites, social engineering, anything like that. White box, the tester is told about the network topology and technology, maybe giving a floor plan. Okay, so you know something about what you're going to be breaking into. You can talk to people, you can talk to employees, makes it a lot easier. Okay, black box, you really don't know. Here, break into this. You don't know what the heck it is. Okay, you don't know about the test. You're not giving any details. So which one do you think is harder, black box or white box? Black box, obviously, yes, obviously.
But the white box is actually more effective.
Much more effective because the other way, the white box, you're getting half the answers. So black box, Greg has a great point there because I'm having to use all my skills to find out the information that,
The difference between having GPS and a map.
There you go, GPS and map, great example, yes. Okay, all right, here's a sample floor plan, gray box. It says hybrid of the white, basically some of it. You might know some of the information, just not all of it. You don't know the network diagram. A few years back, where Taco Bueno is right over here in the corner? There's a bench, and they had a network jack right underneath the table. One of my students just plugged right in. Got an IP address and everything. No problem. That's probably not a good thing to have in the seating area of a restaurant. Okay. But nowadays, everybody has Wi-Fi. Is it secure? Okay. There's a lot of certificates out there. Security Plus is probably the most popular at the moment. I say that because it's at the moment. It does change. I have my CEH, I have CHFI, I have CISSP and all them. Certificates are good, but they do expire. I have an MCSE. Y'all know what MCSE is? Microsoft System Certified Engineer. Problem is mine's with NT4. When's the last time you saw NT4? I'm certified in Novell 311.
I have my network plus from 2000.
Yeah, see, there you go. So the point is, certifications are great, but things change. Like my CISSP, 80% failure rate, tough test to pass. I will never let that one expire because I don't want to take the damn test again. Now, my problem is I have a Security Plus, but before it requires CEU, so I need to go and retake it again. So,
What's certified ethical? What's the U?
CEU is a certificate of educational, continuing educational units.
Oh, okay.
Okay, my CISSP requires 120 CEUs every 3 years. Now, the good thing is, ISC Squared just changed it. I get 5 points for every book I read. Oh, dude, I could put 150 books in there right now. I didn't, but you know, because I felt bad. I'm like, man, I got my 3 years already done this year. That's bad.
How do they know you read it?
They take your word for it. One of the big things with CISSP is the number one thing is ethics, integrity, ethics. So if they ever ask, fine, ask me a question. I even have a copy of all the books still. I have all the MP4s or 3s or MP3s. So. Yes. Okay, so there are a lot of certifications out there. CEH is the one that pertains to this. There's OSCP, the Offensive Security Certified Professional. That one's not as popular, but it is out there. There's the CEH, the one I have. I will tell you, their system to put in CEU sucks. Oh, I hate it. I hate it. I was not a fan of this test. I felt they asked some stuff that was okay. They send me a hexadecimal dump of a file. What type of file is this? But it wasn't the header. It was like, I forget what it was. It was something. Thank God I read it in one of the books. It talks about, you know, if this is a certain type of data file at such and such a location, you're going to see this hexadecimal, which means end of record. And that's the answer was. I'm like, thank God I remember seeing that. I just thought that was a little excessive for this exam. But I do have one. Okay. The OSS Tea, this guy, OPST, is another certification out there. It seems like there's a new certification every day. Okay. There's the CISSP. That's probably the #1 certification right now. What's his David? Taught forensics last year. Oh, you guys weren't in my class, but David, fucking his last name, was in my class. He got the CISSP during my class. And it was funny. He mentioned it to his boss. And then they're like, oh, no, you are switching jobs immediately because that's hard to get. And everybody wants it.
You have that, you get a promotion.
Exactly. That's what they told him. Because, oh, no, you're moving jobs immediately. And, yeah, he got a new job offer and everything. So if you take our program here at Rose State, the entire cyber option, and know the material, not super in-depth, you should be able to pass this test. The problem with this test is $600. It's like 6 hours long. And they ask you everything, but only half an inch deep. For instance, they ask you about DES encryption. The only question they ask you is how long was the key? 56-bit is the key.
Oh, okay.
So it covers everything. So it's kind of like a management's perspective. You need to know everything. I need to know what everybody in this whole school is doing. Do I really need to know how the health sciences people teach cleaning teeth? No, I just need to know they clean teeth, you know. So, but it's probably the best one to get. So, all right. SANN has great certifications. They have great classes. And there's also a lot of information on the website. If you ever want a template for something, SANN is the place to go. GIAC is another excellent certification program. Okay. So lots of, but SANN is probably one of the best places to go to get information. Okay, penetration testers and security testers says need technical skills. Okay. Download Kali Linux. You will be using it in this class. Download it, play with it. The tool's amazing.
You can get a Linux rolling on.
Yes.
Actually,
Yes.
for
Oh,
this class, I got a Chromebook for $60, and then pulled the
Kali run?
the write protection screw out, and you can put Kali Linux on it.
Williams just said he bought a Chromebook for $60.
and then you have to open it up and pull the right.
Yeah, there's a write protection plug. You pull it out, then you install Kali Linux.
And then
Good idea.
Kali Linux runs natively on it.
There you
and runs
go.
Fast as hell.
Nice. So $60 for a Kali Linux machine. One of the projects is to actually install Kali Linux on a bootable thumb drive.
I have already done that.
Nice. So
I
there you
have
go.
one on my desk.
Got already one. So, but there's a lot of stuff. You know, the second bullet there, skills in writing and verbal communications. Is that important?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And a lot of people don't have that. They can't speak. They can't write. Trust me, I grade a lot of papers. A lot of people can't. But you know, I was in DC first week in January for a conference. There was all these federal agencies hiring people. Okay, there's two things they all want. You know what they are? Community activities, participate in competitions. Those are the two things that every organization wanted. Tell you, at Cyber Club this year, you'll be getting notification very soon when it's going to meet. We will be participating in community activities because, you know, years ago when I was working on my bachelor's degree, there was a scholarship called the McAfee Library Scholarship. It was $2,500 every 8 weeks for 2 years. I literally grabbed the application, hand wrote it, and turned it in, and I won. It was based on community activity. And I had just gone with my church and wired a school in Norman over a weekend, helped wire a school. So community activity is a big deal. I could not believe it. I was literally in a focus group the last day of the conference. They were talking about that, and they were like, everybody wants community activity and participation in competitions. So we will be doing both of those.
You know, I know a lot of people think that the ethics class here is kind of a joke.
Oh no, ethics is amazing.
But if you want writing and verbal communication skills to improve, take that class with your wife because you write a lot of papers.
William's talking about our ethics class and how you take the class with Virginia. You write a lot of papers, but writing, if you can't write, you got a problem. You know, a student messaged me the other day. He's like, "All right, I graduated Rose State. I got my Security Plus. This company's offering me $10 an hour." I'm like, "No, you need more than that." So I said, "Send me your resume." It's like 4 lines long. Name, email, got an associate Rose State. I'm like, "What?" He says, "No. We're also going to be having a resume writing workshop for the Cyber Club and an interviewing workshop." Because this is stuff I'm finding out people don't know. I mean, a 4-line resume?
Yeah, for this degree, you take personal finance, right?
Yes.
And you learn how to write a resume there.
Oh, you doing personal finance?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, we're going to have our resume person on campus come over and do
They
that.
used to say it should only be 1 page long, but nowadays for a technical thing, what I found recently
List all the
is
skills.
that it shouldn't be 1 page long anymore.
Right.
It should be more like a curriculum vitae where it goes through like everything you've done up to, as many pages.
What William's talking about is our resumes are no longer limited to 1 page. They should be multiple pages listing everything you've done. And that's a great point, and we're going to also do that as well. Okay.
You know, Ken, one of the other things is that if you're in a pen test, you're going to have to write up and present this back to whoever hired you. And you need to communicate that.
Right.
The other thing that I'm hearing a lot from people is they want people that have actually gone through SOX and done that tier 1 because they have to document.
Oh, yeah. Another thing which we need to figure out how to implement, they want people with GitHub access. I mean, not access, experience with GitHub. So, I mean, this stuff is, and the first day of the conference, they had a panel up there. It was, NSA, CIA, all these big organizations, and it was kind of like asking questions. The last question they asked all the presenters, what is the number 1 thing you're focusing on and you see the biggest issue in the field to this day? They all said the same thing. What do you think? Cloud. They're all freaking out about the cloud because everything's going to the cloud. We all have Google Drive. We all have iCloud. We all have whatever, And Netflix. Okay, where does Netflix run on? Amazon. AWS is what Netflix is on. Rose State's website is on AWS. Draw something. Remember the game? You had to draw a picture, and the other person had to say what it was or something. No, whatever. It was a game. Whatever it was. They made a ton of money because it was built on a backbone of AWS, and as their users increased, they just kept upping the resources behind it. They made tons of money because they could scale up that fast. Okay, so yeah, a lot of stuff, you know, and continue learning. That's the whole point of these CEUs.
It's not just scale, it's scope now too.
Yes.
Just around the world.
Right.
Being able to have the closest server.
Right. And that's like Google. You know.
When I worked overseas, it was taking so long for our local users in Abu Dhabi to get the material we were posting because geographically it was having to come from a server halfway across the world. So scale and scope.
By the way, for those of you online, I know you can't hear all this. I'm going to see if I can figure out how to place the microphone differently for next class, because William has a lot of good input. What he was talking about, he worked in Abu Dhabi and all over the world. And scope, in other words, where people are connecting, you know, that's a big deal. You know, do they have fast access? So, okay. Data certifications. Some participants simply memorize the terminology. You know, I sat through a Microsoft class. I don't remember what it was at this point. And someone asked the instructor, are you covering everything needed for the test? He goes, nope, only covering 70%. So why would I go to a class where we only cover 70% of the material? Any ideas? Well, because they only cover 70% because they want me to actually hands-on experience to get the last 30%. Right. They don't want to just give me the answers and me memorize them and not know what they do. Okay? All right. Okay, what can you do legally? Okay, I will tell you right now, I'm not a lawyer. There's 2 of them down the hall. I use them all the time. Okay, it says laws involving technology change rapidly. They are changing all the time. It's always playing catch up. Now it's illegal to text and drive. I think that went into effect in November, didn't it? Something like that. 10 years ago, was texting and driving a problem? No, because no one texted and drove. But
Might have been a problem, it just wasn't illegal.
right. So the point is laws play catch up all the time. And take the cyber, you know, the ethics class, you talk about legal aspects in there. Okay. It says keep abreast of what's happening in your area. Attend conferences. You know, I went to IWS this year. I went to Enotech. I mean, I go to all these conferences. They're free. And if nothing else, you walk home with a bag of stuff. Yeah, DEF CON's cool. I must have 20 pop sockets at my house now. All this stuff. Okay, but go to these conferences. Now, some of them, like DEF CON, cost money.
Don't ever use a USB drive you get at a DEF CON.
Yeah, I would never. And don't ever bring your cell phone to DEF CON or anything like that.
Bluetooth off.
Okay, so beware of what is allowed and what you should not or cannot do. Don't just, I mean, first of all, get permission, but be careful of what you do. Okay, it says in some states, possession of lockpicking tools constitutes a crime. I have lockpicks in the back of that room. Since we have them for educational purposes, it's okay. But if you had them at your house, I'm not sure what the Oklahoma law is.
I mean, I don't think it's that illegal.
It's contextual. If you have, I know what the law is, because I'm not going to get into it, but if you have them in the context of, if you're in the area where a lot of burglaries have been committed.
You have 25 TVs in the back of your car.
Or if you have a pry bar along with your lockpicking tools and you have.
Yeah, he's talking they're contextual. So if you have lockpicks along with
a pry bar
or other stuff that could, okay, that could be illegal. So, okay. So some hacking tools in your community might be illegal. Contact law enforcement. Okay. They're written to protect society. Again, I'm not getting into the law. That's not my job. I'm not going to read these laws here at all. Is port scanning legal? Funny story. I was in Colorado teaching a class to teachers. And during that class, I had each of the teachers scan their school's public network. You know, where scan rose.edu. And while I was there, I scanned rose.edu. And the funny thing, we did it from inside of our vSphere system. And I get back from Colorado the next week, OneNet, no, I'm sorry, not OneNet. What is it? Cameron University in Lawton. Cameron University contacted OneNet, which contacted RIT, which contacted me, says someone in the CyberLab network was scanning their network. I said, yes. That was one of my students in my class. I said, the funny thing was I scanned Rose State as well, and you didn't even notice it. So I was impressed that Cameron University actually noticed it. They actually saw the scan and found out where the IP came from and contacted OneNet and then said, hey, who the heck's getting our network? But is it illegal? It's not always illegal.
And you just do it through a VPN. I mean,
Yeah, or Tor or something. Yeah.
I mean,
The worst offender is your ISP.
Yes. Yes. What about? Let's see. No, forget that. It's just you don't always know, and I'm not going to tell you that. If you walked up to my house and opened the door, is that legal?
depends if I'm your friend.
But did you enter? It's like if you're driving on the network and you connect to my Wi-Fi. It's kind of like walking up to my door is not illegal, but the moment you enter my door, now it's illegal. You know what I mean?
Trespassing.
Right, it's trespass. So there's a fine line. Again, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't get into that. So acceptable usage policy, that's a big deal. What is your, did you know Google keeps every search that's ever been performed? They never delete them. Every search you've ever made has been recorded. When
They still get hundreds of brand new searches every day.
when we had the Postmaster General come and speak to us about mail crimes. He was talking about anthrax attack against Chase Bank. Well, there's all these banks that got an anthrax attack at the same time. They tracked it down to a computer in University of Arizona. They basically asked Google, "Hey, is there anyone in the world that searched for all these addresses at the same time?" I said, "Yes, there's one computer in the University of Arizona." Isn't that amazing how but Google knew that. So I'm actually listening to a book right now called Life After Google. The author basically says Google will fail. They'll still have search, but their business model is not sustainable. I don't know much about it. I haven't just started reading it, but it's amazing stuff. So, okay. Acceptable use policy. Do you think Rose State would, kick Ken out over here if he scanned the network? Would they even know if he scanned the network? Yeah. But there are usage policies of what you can do out there, and it's just crazy. Okay. IRC, is it even still a thing? I know it's still there, but is it still popular?
They have only certain encrypted channels.
IRC stands for Internet Relay Chat, by the way. It's an online chat system. You say it's
A lot of projects, software projects, open source projects still use it quite a bit.
Okay, because I haven't used it in a million years.
Government uses it a lot.
And it says right here, some ISPs prohibit it. Some block some content too. Okay, there's a lot of laws out there. Again, I'm not going to go over the laws. That's for another class. Okay, what you can do legally, it says, legally allows you to access the computer without permission, or cannot do legally. Accessing someone's computer. I always seem to mess that up. Destroying data without permission, copying information. So be careful of your actions. Do not prevent clients, employee from doing their jobs. Okay. All right, get into writing. If you're going to do a job in this, make sure they give it to you in writing. Okay. I used to take care of a company called Nancy Burley in Public Relations. She's a publicist for a bunch of romance authors, Debbie Maycomer and all them. I used to take care of all their websites. But I went to Nancy Burley's once. She was having this computer issue. And she literally had her cable modem with a switch plugged into it, and everything plugged straight into that. No router, no security at all. I'm like, Nancy, you can't do this. This is like, you're going to get broken into. No, we're fine. Cox installed it, they said we're fine. Yeah, but Cox is not in the job of security. They're in the job of connection.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, you're connected to the internet, it'll work.
Because what I noticed was every machine had a public-facing IP address. So I wrote down her address, went home, brought up my computer, remotely connected into hers, and said, "So Nancy, whatever the problem is, oh yeah, it's working great now." I said, "So you're editing such and such a document?" I said, "Yeah." And, I told her exactly which document she was using, what she was logged in with, and I printed something on her printer, and she's like, "How'd you do that?" I'm like, "Because your entire network's wide open to the." She goes, "Come on, man." Again, I didn't have anything in writing, but she wouldn't listen. I said, "This is not good. You can't have this." Even a cheapy router. Okay. Books. There's a lot of books out there on how to do this. Just don't become a script kiddie and download stuff and cause issues. Okay. Lots of resources on the internet. Google is your friend, okay? Have an attorney to read stuff, and that's a whole nother story. Okay, skills needed, knowledge of networking and computer technology. Ability to communicate, like we said, be able to write a report. You know, I took a class, project management class. We had to do this huge project. Ours was, we had to go to this one edition somewhere and install a community pool. You can imagine the scope of this project. It was huge. You know, we're talking executive summary and everything. So it's our day to come present. This is for my master's degree. We all show up there, and we cover the executive summary, and then the instructor walks out. Yeah. So what's going on? He goes, oh, no, I'm the guy in charge, because that's all I'm going to hear. So it's like, the point was, make sure your executive summary encompasses the entire project. Don't have the entire thing, because sometimes that's all people get. So, okay. Understanding of the law in your area, ability to apply necessary skills. Okay. All right, so that is ethical hacking in a nutshell. There's a quiz required for this chapter, and it is listed wherever that was. Go back into the course, make sure everybody can find it. And if this is, you're watching this from a different semester, it might be in a different place, but it's right there. No hands-on projects at all in this, just do the quiz. There's no 5 points bonus for doing these early, sorry. Okay, all right, I'm gonna stop the recording and I will hopefully get it up there tonight.